Jackie?
No, I would just say, reiterate what Stephanie said, and remember that networking is going on the Facebook networking page right now. I remember we have our new 360 real estate program, which will be the last Tuesday of the month. We had a great turnout last time. This time we're going to get some information on buying tax foreclosures. It's something you can do all across the country, so that's going to be great. I think that's all I have. Leslie, Jackie?
You covered it.
Yeah, you had it.
What was the last thing you said, Kathy? I didn't get the 360 and then it went out. I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
So it's our new program, Steph. That's the last Tuesday of every month, and it's designed to cover all aspects of real estate investing, especially some things that we don't normally cover in our meetings. So sort of unusual things like self-storage. And last time we had Marco, and it was on buying hotels and with no money.
Cool.
It was awesome. And this time it's going to be on tax foreclosures.
Oh, okay, cool.
And Stephanie,
Okay, great.
Stephanie,
Yes.
the main meeting this month is going to be about how to do subject to properties. It's going to be a really cool one.
Okay, great. That's awesome. So everything you need to know about subject to, come back on Tuesday. Or the 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21st.
Yeah, July 21st, the main meeting. Next Tuesday is TREIA North.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right. Okay, so next I'm going to hand it over to Jen then, so she can tell us teach us how to do a 5-day flip. So Jen, the floor is all yours. You got unmute. There you go.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Perfect. All right. So I am Jen Josey, and just a couple quick background on me. I'm a former middle school teacher. I taught for 16 years, and I developed an allergy to children. So just that's where that came from. I have been a real estate investor since 2017. My husband and I, we joined Fortune Builders, and we are owner of Jolific Homes and Jolific Properties. Jolific Homes is our business to flip houses, and then Jolific Properties is our rentals. And we have 2 long-term rentals and a very cute Airbnb near Boone. I have an online mastermind called RAIN, and I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a blogger. The presentation I'm doing tonight is actually from a blog that I wrote. So I'll post the website to my blog later on. I just recently took advantage of the Rona and got Canfield certified, which means Jack Canfield, he wrote all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, and he has a book called the Success Principles. And so I am a certified Success Principles coach. And I also got my life coach certification, which I will never ever use. I just wanted it was like $50, so I jumped on it. So don't come with me with your problems. I just have extra tool in the tool belt. I am married to Vance, this good looking guy over here. He's about 3 pounds lighter from this picture because during the Rona, we used the dog trimmer to shave his head. So he lost about 3 pounds of hair there. And I'm the mother of 8. I try to compete with Melani, but 4 are furry and 4 are feathered. So that's me. What we're going to be discussing is, I keep getting this, trying to remove some of these boxes. Okay, we're going to talk about the type of property that's perfect for a 5-day flip, the marketing that we do, our team of contractors. It's typically tighter profit margins, and then the financing that we do. So any questions before I get started? Okay. So the first one is the type of property. Now, typically, we love condos and townhomes. I have lived in 3 of them, so I am an expert on townhomes, actually. We love ones that are built in the 80s and 90s. We love ones that have an ARV around 200,000. And one of the main reasons we love condos and townhomes is because they have an homeowners association, and that covers most of the exterior, typically the roof, the siding, the sometimes the grounds. So also you got to be weary of HOAs though when you're looking at these properties. There's a section in Cameron Village, those little townhomes that they have, where the HOA is not like the others, and it was like $600 a month for their HOA. So you just, yeah, you got to be weary of that. You also have to be careful of assessment. So every few years, there'll be an extra fee per month or annually where they will charge for a new roof or paving of the parking lot, maybe something with the pool. So when you are purchasing a condo or townhome, you want to make sure that you're asking if there's any assessments coming up, because that's huge. Because they're built in the 80s and 90s, if you just do a few updates, you get higher returns. Typically, you just have to put a fresh coat of paint. We update the flooring, countertops, maybe the appliances, and you get a much higher return just for doing those things. So that's why we love condos and townhomes. Now, can you flip a single family home in 5 days? Absolutely. It really just depends on you know, the scope of work that you have for it. You know, even if you do have to worry about the exterior for a single family home, if you're doing, you have to replace the roof, you can still have the roofers there. It takes 2 to 3 days while the other people are working inside. So you can still double up on your contractors. Any questions about the type of property? So these are just 5 factors that we use to flip them in 5 days, and this is the first one. All right, going on. Marketing. So we market to condos and townhomes built in the 80s, 90s. And what I do is I mail a letter to the entire neighborhood. And I feel like there's less competition because many of you will buy lists. You'll buy the probate list, you'll buy lists for, you know, pre-foreclosure, absentee owners. Well, you're not the only one buying that list. There's several people buying those lists, several investors. So when I'll just, you know, stalk the MLS and I'll see, you know, oh, this one's built in the 85, and oh, it has outdated, you know, cabinets or whatever. So I know that I can put a little bit of money to make it, you know, go a long distance. Typically the waiting, it's a longer waiting game because you have, you know, you don't have people who are wanting to sell their property. Our letters, when they go out, they say, you know, we love your neighborhood. We want to buy homes in your neighborhood. If you're not considering a move, or you're not wanting to move now, but considering a move in the future, please hold on to the enclosed business card. And we just got one under contract. We close the 16th, and that lady held on to my business card for several months. And she's like, oh, I'm ready to move now. So let me call Jen. So that's just an easy way to do it. We put our, with our marketing, our faces are on it. That actually the picture in the first slide, we use that so that people know that they're working with just us. They're not going to be calling a corporation, because we're selling ourselves along with it. When they call, if they have questions, they're reaching out directly to us. So, you know, some people would prefer to work with knowing who they're working with, as opposed to just being a number. So any questions on marketing? And by the way, I pull through the GIS system, and I don't pay to get those addresses. All that's free. That's in Wake County and Durham County, any county in the United States. You can go on the GIS system and pull those addresses. So, oh, and by the way, also with condos and townhomes, the average that people live in them is about 4 years. So I send a letter or a postcard like every 6 months, just a little reminder, you know, hey, we love your neighborhood. We want to buy in your neighborhood. So we just kind of stay, you know, present to the people that live there. You know, because typically people who live in condos and townhomes are, you know, maybe people going through divorce. It could be people who are new to the area and don't know exactly where they want to buy a house yet, you know, so it's more transitional housing. Any questions on marketing? I love questions.
Yeah, if you do have any questions for Jen, make sure you type them in the chat box, just so that people realize that.
I know somebody has a question.
Yeah, some people may not see the chat box.
Okay,
They had it minimized by
had a
accident, so I
question
just
come
wanted to say
in.
that.
Can you pull addresses from the GIS in bulk, or do you have to do it one by one? That's from Scott Linden.
Definitely in bulk. I put in, so I have an alert for the MLS, and I get anytime a condo or townhome in Wake County that is priced under 200,000, anytime they come on the market, I look through the pictures and I say, oh, I don't know this neighborhood, and I'll check it out. And then I will pull the neighborhood, and then that's what I search for in the GIS. And then you can export it as an Excel file.
And Mark Reckhammer asks, are you mailing letters or postcards?
Yes, both. The first time I do a letter, because you will have some absentee owners, and so it could be someone out of state. And then the way how our postcards are designed is just for people who actually live there, because it's like, we want to buy in your neighborhood, and I can't be specific. I don't want to send it to California and say, hey, I'm in Raleigh, I want to buy in your neighborhood. They're not going to understand. So I do a letter first, and then the postcard also has our picture on it, just to kind of stay present with them.
Pam Fisher wants to know, is that alert that you set up in the MLS or the GIS?
Okay, so I set up an alert in the MLS, and it sends me properties that are condos, or they're attached, valued under 200,000, so that I can see the pictures and say, oh, so typically if there's one that's outdated, I can go through and see, I can go in and just fix the kitchen in this one and then call it a day or whatever. But it is an alert through the MLS, through my husband, who is my realtor. So he set it up for me. And that Pam Fisher, man, she has a 1 question limit.
All right, Pam, you're done.
Is that it?
That's it. With older townhomes, does the HOA and maintenance fee become too restrictive over time?
Not that I've seen, too restrictive. Oh, you mean like for flipping properties? No.
Yeah, I guess, as it wears out, so is it too much to spend on maintenance, I guess is what that means. That's from Melody Asbury. I will say, for anyone who doesn't know, Jill Lycan asked, and I just answered her privately, but she asked, what is GIS and how do you access it? So if anyone who doesn't know, is the Global Interspatial Mapping System is the GIS, and it's found on every county tax website. Every county is a little different in how theirs operates, but you will generally find it on the county tax website.
I think it's Geographical Information System is what it stands for.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right, great questions. Team of contractors. So we've done quite a few of these, so we wouldn't be able to get through them without an awesome team of contractors. So once we start working with them and we use them over and over again, we're giving them a higher volume of work so we can renegotiate those labor costs. And if we're giving them a lot of work, there's a lot of loyalty towards us. So I have the next one here. It says no quotes needed. When you are doing typically lipstick jobs like this, you know what your contractors charge price per square foot. So you don't need to close on the property, then get your contractors in there to do quotes. You don't have to go through and do all that, because you already know that your countertops are $29 a square foot and that the sink is going to be $200. So you can kind of estimate the square footage, and you're going to know approximately how much you're going to be paying them. I post a schedule for all the trades. This has been huge, and I have a picture of it when I get to the actual case study. And when you put the schedule there, contractors can see. So like my flooring guys know that the countertops are going in later that afternoon, so they know to do the bathrooms and the kitchen first thing in the morning, so that they can be out while the other guys are putting in the countertops. So I make it visual, I'm color code it, and it makes it pretty easy for them. The organization also frees up your time, so that we're spending very little time at these properties. And we'll close and then we'll wait for it to, what's it called? To record. And then we literally have our folks over there, sometimes they beat us to the property and we put on the lockbox, they go in, they start doing their work, and then we go back when it's finished, and that's when we take photos and get ready to list it. So Pam Fisher asked me, or she read my blog about this and had a great question. And she said, how do you control, your contractors? And when you've been working with them for a while, they want to keep you happy because you're giving them lots of work. But I do include a code of honor, sorry, not conduct, honor. And I can't see it because the pictures aren't it, but these are, I post these, I usually put it on a bright neon color cardstock. I post it somewhere and make sure that they all read that. And they start calling each other out. There's, my painter will be like, your flooring guys left a whole bunch of sodas in here or whatever it is. So that's just a great thing to post along with your schedule. So any questions about contractors? And you can't have any of mine because I love them. Don't ask.
I like your job site code of honor. That's really cool. I haven't ever seen, I've never seen that before, even like new construction or anything like that. I like that. That's a good idea.
I will email it to you.
I would appreciate
Only
that.
Any questions?
No questions.
All right, so with projects like this, you have tighter profit margins. And so you typically have a smaller ROI, return on investment. And I gotta move these pictures so I can see. You wanna look at, okay. Typically investors have a specific percentage that they want the return of investment to be, whether it be, 20% of the, going through the deal analyzer and everything. For me, if I'm gonna make $10,000 and it takes 4 or 5 hours of my time, I'm all over it. If that's not a certain percentage of what the deal is gonna be, I'd rather make $10,000 than not make anything. So, you have to be, because it's tighter profit margins, you have to really do your due diligence. You want to get an inspection done prior to closing. If you're working with a wholesaler, that can be tough. So when you do that, you want to make sure that you have a contingency. If you can't get an inspection, probably 15% would be good. When you do get an inspection and, say there's 12 windows at this townhome and 4 out of the 12 don't open, you have to replace them. That's $300 a pop, maybe $350 a pop for a window. And you can go back to the owner and say, hey, these windows, and they totally know the windows are not working. And they were like, maybe she won't catch it. And so you go back and negotiate a lower price. And, you say, I got to take $1,200 off our contract price because, I'm going to have to now replace these windows. I didn't budget for it. And they know it's coming. So we've never had any backlash on it. And, that's always worked in our favor. So I know numbers are huge for people. So I'm guessing there might be some questions.
No questions yet.
All right. Next one is financing. So when you have more projects like this, it's going to require more lenders. So for us, we typically use one hard money lender, and they're in our first position. And then we find private money lenders for second position. And we had just one little, anyway, we're using a different hard money lender. This time we're using Oakwood with Adam Schneider. He's been great to work with, so I'm doing a little shout out for him. I know he's one of the vendors, and he's so easy to work with. So the private money lenders, by doing these smaller projects, you're growing your list of lenders, and it's great for new lenders because, the second position may only be $20,000, and that is a nice, easy number for new people. Even you have the Rona going on, so people are afraid to take all of their savings or all of their self-directed IRA to invest. So if they can do little bits here and there, it's great. Because these projects also are very quick, the one I'm going to be discussing the whole time ended up being 6 weeks. Some lenders, it's not worth their time to only lend for 6 weeks, so you can offer a 3-month guarantee. So even though they're earning interest in only 6 weeks, they'll still get the interest for up to 3 months. And also with financing these projects, it's really, really tough for some people. You don't want to over renovate. So when you have that MLS alert that's coming out and you see that all of them have white appliances, you know, you could probably get away with just keeping the white appliances. You don't need to tear down walls. You certainly don't need to put in new cabinets. The people buying condos and townhomes in this price point are, they're my people. They're typically teacher salaries. They're people who just want clean, but they still want affordable. So paint the cabinets instead of replacing them. Jackie is the one who taught me that, to keep things affordable for the buyer. Like deep clean the bathtubs. There's a barkeeper's friend. Whew, amazing. It's magical. And you can get in there and clean out the bathtubs instead of having to, you know, put in a whole new tile surround or anything like that. So make sure you don't over renovate. So financing questions. Any questions on that?
So we have a couple questions for you. Mark Breckhammer wants to know 2 questions. 1, have you run into any problems with condo associations making interior restrictions?
Nope.
2, what are you offering your private money lenders?
We do about 10%.
Pamela Fox wants to know, do you have a repair cost estimate list? You've shared a few things, for example, $350 a window.
I will be going over that in the case study.
Okay, Scott Linden wants to know, are HVAC replacements common?
So when we do the initial walkthrough, we have a list, you know, how old is, when was the roof replaced? How old is the HVAC? You know, if it's 20 years, we're probably going to budget to replace the HVAC just because we want to make it great for the buyer coming in. That was a great question.
Okay, not a question, but just a comment from Chris Bowman says, barkeeper's friend is also good for stainless steel sinks. And just one other comment, Jen gave a shout out to Adam Schneider. Adam will be our speaker next week at the Millennials meeting. So if you want to know more about him and Oakwood, tune in for that. That's all for now.
Awesome. All right, so here is the case study. Here's an example. So this is one that we found through a wholesaler. It's in Talon Ridge Townhomes. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It was 1,400 square feet. This one was built in 2006, which is newer than ones that we've ever dealt with. So we, you know, couple, you know, different attack strategies, I guess, for when we got to this one. So because it was newer, we didn't really, you know, we budgeted to service the HVAC because we kind of figured we wouldn't have to replace it because it is much newer. It was occupied by renters, and they were interesting. We did a walkthrough on April 30th, and because I saw how it was, I said, I will not be buying this until the tenants vacate. The purchase price from the wholesaler was $120, and our estimated ARV was $165. So we bought it and closed on May 29th, 6 weeks ago. These are the before photos. So you can see what we were kind of dealing with. Not bad, you know, there's just a bunch of stuff. Oh boy, yeah. So you can see they didn't maintain it very well. The carpet was torn up. There was, this is interesting. So the front door had a huge dent in it from the battering ram from a police officer. And so I didn't get a picture of it, but I was like, oh, we're gonna have to replace the front door, it looks like. And, you know, so clearly they were, they had unexpected guests from the police officer. So those are the before photos. So this was in our first walkthrough. This is my repair estimator. And we estimated $3,500 in paint. So our painter typically does like $2.25 per square foot. He actually gave us a deal on this one and only charged us $2 a square foot, but we weren't sure like what was behind all that stuff. You couldn't even see the wall, so I didn't know if there's holes anywhere. So we just padded that number just to make sure we covered everything. Replaced the front door. I wasn't sure if we were gonna have to replace the whole frame, and there was like side lights, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be expensive, but we put $300 and crossed our fingers. The countertops, we were only gonna replace the countertops in the kitchen at first. We thought there was like this fryer thing in there, and there was just baked in stuff on the countertops. It was really, really nasty. So we put to just replace the countertops in the kitchen, and then the sink, which is 200 of that. Typical faucet, you budget around 150 for kitchen sink. Flooring, we estimated $37.45. We were gonna put LVP throughout the downstairs and the bathrooms, and then carpet on the stairs and bedrooms. There was a water stain on the ceiling, so I budgeted $500 for possible plumbing issues. Cleaning, we budget around $250 for our cleaning babes. And then the renter said that a couple of the outlets didn't work, so I just put $350 for possible electrical issues. Repair, so underneath the kitchen sink, there was a leak at some point, and so the wood was just crumbling. So I had to, budgeted $150 for that. Because of the way it looked when we walked through, I figured I was going to need to hire a junk crew to get in and get rid of everything. And I asked them if they would demo the floor while they were in there. And they charged 75 cents per square foot to demo flooring. And then I had no idea what they're going to charge for the junk, but to haul it all away. So we did a contingency of $1,500. So I'm sure I have some questions. And if you want my painter's name, you can't have it. Any questions?
Yes, Pam Fisher's breaking your rules here. She wants to know, no bathroom updates other than plumbing?
At that point, no. At this point, we only budgeted for the kitchen. We thought we could just get away with barkeeper's friend and like clean it up really nice. But we did change our mind. We ended up changing in the after, you'll see that.
Okay. Gayla Hitching wants to know, what about light fixtures?
So there were two, and we didn't budget for it. There were two ceiling fans that were bizarre. So we did end up putting some, just forgive my French, but we call them titty lights. Sorry. I'm sure
No,
that's
the technical term would be boob light.
Lights.
Boob light.
So we just replaced them with boob lights.
Boob lights. David
Yes.
Harburger wants to know, if you won't share your contractors, how do you find your contractors?
Through networking. Our flooring people we met through TREIA. Well, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I can, what's the name of the company? Green Home Pro, maybe. His name is David Requa. It's his company. He's amazing, and they have great prices for flooring. My painter, just through networking. Yeah.
I think this is Robert Arriaga, AKA Mr. Unlimited, wants to know, what rates are people generally seeing for lending? All of mine have increased both the rate and the loan to value.
So we like to borrow at 10%, but I think this one did we do it? No, we did 10% on this one, but we have been seeing people ask for 11, and then we did agree to 12 on a project, but we just, oh, I'm sorry. The hard money lender was 9.5%, I'm sorry. But the private money lenders. Yeah.
And do you
And
pay
we
points on the, oh, sorry.
Final word on the buble lights from Chris Bowman, who says, sorry, but they're called nipple lights.
Titty lights. Today.
Oh,
Yeah, well, it's right up there with if you've seen one, you've seen them all. So.
One final question before you move on. Loretta Bell wants to know, are you paying points as well?
We paid 1.5 points for the hard money lender. Only.
All right, that's it.
Okay.
Hey, Jen, just a quick
Yes.
question. So it's a townhouse. There was nothing in the exterior, and that's because you verified with the HOA that if there were any repairs necessary, they would cover it.
Correct. So there was an issue with the siding, and we asked for them to have it repaired, and it was literally repaired this past Friday. Great question. And then one of the things that you're going to see here is we actually ended up, well, I'll get to it in a second. So here's how we financed the deal. We used Lending Home on this project, and we used, for the gap funding, it was $30,000, and the estimated hold time was 3 months is what we told them, but it ended up from start to close 6 weeks. So here is my projected timeline, and being the former middle school teacher, I do like to crack a whip. So I hate when it changes, but we closed on Friday, May 29th, and my trash guys were supposed to meet us there in the evening because they actually had to reschedule. And so they were gonna remove the trash Friday night and then Saturday morning. Monday, the contractors were gonna begin. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they were there. Friday, renovation is supposed to be complete. Friday, June 5th, same day, we do the photos and then we list it on the MLS, but the showings didn't start till the next day at noon. So that was my projected timeline. Questions about my projected timeline or about how we financed it?
Dang, you ain't full ground.
Nope.
No question.
Okay. So surprises. Closing on that May 29th, it was delayed a few hours. So the seller was an absentee owner and he lived in Maryland. So supposed to close at 1 and he didn't even show up till about 4. So then they were, scrambling to get it done and told us it wouldn't record till Monday. So my junk guys who had to reschedule and they were going to work on a Friday night and Saturday morning, I had to cancel them. They were actually at the property and I was like, you got to go home, sorry. So they were PO'd. And then we get a phone call right after I tell them to go home and it did end up recording. I'm like, stop. So we went over, we got the keys. We went in and saw that there was just a ton of garbage. It was actually already in garbage bags, which was very nice of them. So instead of, we had to get all the garbage out of the house. I was kind of like, hey, can the flooring guys, can we pay them extra to take it out? And nope, it wasn't going to happen. So we had to order a dumpster, which was unexpected. And we went there and we moved all the garbage bags down to the kitchen. But before I get to that, there was a bathroom that had a mountain of medical supplies in it. Like, not like, remember the battering ram that we were talking about? So there was definitely syringes and stuff like that, but then there was like colostomy bags and there was bandages. There were the things that you put in the trays for, it was just so many random things, but boxes and boxes of unopened stuff, but most of it was expired. So I was like, what am I gonna do with it? There were stethoscopes, there was crutches, just a bizarre collection of medical supplies. And so we put it all in Vance's Pathfinder and it was packed. And I called a girlfriend of mine and said, who's a nurse. I'm like, what do I do with this stuff? I would hate to throw it out, And she said, let me call some people. So we found a professor at NC State for the nursing program. And she took all of it. We drove it to her house. I don't even know this woman. I'm like, open up your garage. We have our masks on and we're, putting everything in there. And so she can use those things to practice with her students because it was all expired. So I'm glad that happened. So here is an example of all the garbage bags that we moved from, the other rooms throughout the house, got everything down. This was my favorite item that I found. Now you know why they're called titty lights. So,
Oh my God.
So it says at the bottom here, best birthday present. So Monday morning when the dumpster arrived, it was actually my birthday. And I was out there, you know, directing the guy to get into our parking spot. I didn't want to upset the neighbors, and a neighbor came out and was just kind of watching. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, are we being loud? And he's like, no, no, no. And we started chatting, and he does punch lists for realtors. And I was like, oh, like, what do you do? And he said, well, you know, I'll go through and do some light, you know, electrical stuff, and I do some landscaping and, you know, whatever it is. So I said, well, what are you doing now? And he's like, I got nothing going on. I'm like, I'll pay you $100 if you move all this garbage out to this dumpster for me. So that was like the best birthday present, was to find this guy. His name is Bryant. And then he ended up volunteering to, or not volunteering, but he also does spray, what is it called? No, the spray. On the outside exterior of the house, pressure washing. Thank you. I'm having you guys translate for me. He also does pressure washing. So I'm like, hey, will you do it? So he did a great job. He was definitely a find. So that was very, very exciting for me. So this is the actual timeline, and everything stuck true to everything except for this, the trash removal. So we had to put in some, you know, some muscle and move all those bags, but we got it done. Here is our contractor schedule. So this is the biggie. This goes right underneath our code of honor for our contractors, and it's typically right at the front when they walk in. So on this first day, on Monday, you know, I had my plumber in there. We had the counters measured. Robbie, my painter, who you will never know his last name, he went in and he actually started on Monday. So he was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I had the cleaning babes come in on Tuesday, and it was very specific on exactly what they want to clean. So this is up there for everyone to see. Bryant, the neighbor, he said he was going to pressure wash the exterior at some point. So he was amazing. And then on Friday is when we had the flooring and the countertops were installed. And then as soon as the countertops and the sinks were installed, then Brent, our plumber, came back and put in all the faucets. And we were done on Friday, went in Friday evening, took pictures, and got it on the MLS. So questions, any questions on this for the contractor schedule? This is key to keeping it organized.
Not exactly on the contractors, but two questions did come in. Robert Arriaga asked why the gap funding.
Because I don't want any money coming out of my pocket.
It's not really gap funding, right? It's just renovation funding.
No, because the hard money lender pays for a percentage of the purchase price and the rehab, and then whatever's left over, we have the gap funding come in.
Gotcha.
So we actually did have to do a draw through our hard money lender.
Gotcha. And Helena Del Rey asked, do you stage them?
So at this price point, never. They fly off the market. Even during the Rona, anything around the 200 price point, I mean, it flew off the market.
Patrick McDonough asked, is this a typical schedule for you, or was this faster than usual?
This was a little bit quicker. So normally we do 7 to 10 days, or actually it's really 7 days now. So like the one we're closing on the 16th, it'll be listed by the 23rd. So it's a Thursday to a Thursday. So that's pretty standard. Any other questions?
I have a question. So you said you put the, you hang this schedule, you hang it up in the house, and then it's right with your site. I can't remember if you called it rules or what did you call that?
Code of honor.
Yeah. Your site code of ethics or whatever. So you hang this up under that or with that?
Yes.
In the house? Okay.
And then when that wall gets painted, it moves to the refrigerator. But this is as they're coming in the first time and they're seeing it. So.
Okay.
Okay, here are my before and after photos. So this was after we had cleaned it up. So this was Monday morning. And there's the after. So these properties, you know, the black appliances we didn't need to upgrade to stainless steel. The oven, we ended up replacing. It was pretty rough, but when they had the inspection, there was something wrong with one of the burners, so we just replaced it. We're like, we know it's gross. So new countertops, we just painted the cabinets to make them fresh. There's the LVP in there. This is one of the bathrooms. We had already taken the mirror down. Look at that bathtub. Oof. And then here it is. We ended up, paying a little bit more and did the countertops to answer Pam's question. And then we also added mirrors. And I do that sometimes. We go to At Home and we get them for about 45 bucks. And they match the flooring. So I actually really like those mirrors. I've used those in a couple properties. Here's the other bathroom. This is the hallway upstairs. You can see there's lots of fun colors on the wall. The paint color we use is Sherwin-Williams Alpaca. This is the master bedroom. See the city light? Here's downstairs, another titty light. So the alpaca, there is you can see the spindle, there's a spindle missing. So our carpenter went in and replaced the spindle, the bottom one. He's a jack of all trades. So questions about the before and after stuff that we used?
One question, did you replace the vanities in the bathroom or just paint those as well?
Paint.
Paint. That's it.
Okay, so these are the actual repair costs. So like I said, our painter, who we love, he ended up only charging us $2 a square foot. Don't know if it was a mistake because we normally do $2.25, but we'll take it. Countertops and sinks. So remember, we only budgeted for the kitchen. We added the two vanities or the two countertops in the bathrooms. The actual one's in black, by the way. Replaced the front door. We budgeted $300. It ended up only being $176. Trying to remove the picture so I can see. Faucets, so we hit a sale and we got 3 faucets. We budgeted for 1, but we ended up getting 3 faucets for $170. So flooring, the difference in the price here is because I was originally paying the junk guys to remove to demo the floor. My junk guys charge, I think it's 75 cents a square foot. And then my flooring guys do $1 a square foot to demo and then remove it as well. So that was the difference in price there. Kitchen cabinet repair, I budgeted $150, it was $150. Cleaning, because they weren't doing the floors or any of that kind of stuff, it was only $160. So the junk removal, we budgeted $1,500, and then I got my birthday present. Bryant, the neighbor, was awesome, only charged $100. Whoop, whoop. Repair, we thought it would be about $500, it was $581. There were some issues with the water pressure and electrical repair was $350. There was some, GFCIs that were not tripping. So we just paid to have that. What was covered under our contingency was the dumpster was $295. We ended up replacing the oven. The garbage disposal, I don't know why we didn't budget for it because we always replaced it anyway. And pressure wash, my neighbor across the street, he did it for $150. And then the bathroom mirrors and then miscellaneous supplies and stuff like titty lights. So that's the difference there. We're pretty much on the actual costs. So pretty good with what we budgeted. Any questions?
Did you remove the tile before reflooring?
So it was vinyl, rolled vinyl, and yes.
That's it.
Really? All right, so here is how the project went. June 6th, this was that Saturday that we were listing it. At 8 a.m., my painter went back in and did final touch-up because love him. And then at 12 noon, we were starting showings. We were actually at lunch drinking and got a call with them saying, hey, we're already here. Can we go in at 11:30? So people were like trying to get in there. We had 18 showings on Saturday and Sunday. and we had 5 offers. We were under contract Sunday evening at 7,000 over asking. So we listed it for 165, and they came in at 170. I should be drinking right now. 172. So we're like, yay! And then on Monday, that contract fell through. They had a pre-approval letter, which we require, and for some reason, the bank was like, nope, we can't approve her for it. She was heartbroken. So we quickly called all the other offers, and we went with the second one. So on Tuesday, we were under contract, and we at 4,000 over. So that's the timeline. Any questions about showings? Or so that's why I don't even stage it, because at this price point, I mean, it was like my phone kept buzzing when the showings started showing up. So quick questions?
Wait, one's coming in right now. On
Yeah,
the selling
nope.
end, do you
I got
ever,
one.
Hey, what?
on the selling end, do you ever run into any issues for homeowners insurance for buyers securing financing? That's from Chris Bowman.
Say that again? Is there what?
So we're on the selling end, I think, so he's talking about for your buyers, did they ever run into any homeowners insurance issues for securing financing? I don't really understand it either. You want to clarify that, Chris? Well, go ahead and ask your question, Leslie, and we'll see if Chris can clear that up for us a little bit.
Yeah, I had a question. Jen, you mentioned what you use to clean skanky bathrooms. What was the product's name?
It is called Barkeeper's Friend.
And
they
where
have,
do you purchase that?
you can get it at Target, you can get it at Lowe's. I use the powder kind. You know, it's like common, I guess, where it's powdery and then you add some water to it and but they have it for granite countertops. They have all different types. And someone said for stainless steel sinks, I mean, it is a miracle worker.
Wow.
So, love it.
Okay.
It is, Leslie. It's what I was using at New Bern all weekend.
Was it? Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, it's right up there with Awesome, which is $1 at the dollar store.
All right, do we correct that question?
Okay, here's what he says. A condo policy versus homeowners insurance. Some financing requires both. I think maybe what he means is some condos have a master policy that's included with your HOA. And he's asking some lenders require you not only have that, which normally if there's a condo policy, you just get a copy of it from your condo owners association. And then he's saying some lenders require both that policy and your own homeowners insurance. So has that ever been an issue for any of your buyers?
It hasn't been an issue for them, no, but it is a requirement at times, yes.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, and also, since we're talking about financing and stuff, we put in our listing that we do not accept FHA because for us, we have not owned the property long enough for them to take out an FHA loan. So that's very important. Make sure you disclose that we do not accept FHA loans. So closing day, literally, Vance just told me it just recorded, was today. Today was the closing day. So it is, gotta mark it off change the listing. So our final numbers, our repairs were 13,308. The interest we paid to our lenders, and this included the 1.5 points for our hard money lender, was 1,600. Holding costs were 492. Some of those holding costs like insurance, taxes, HOA, and the utilities. Closing costs were 6,000, commissions 4,000, and the sale price was 169. So,
did you say what was your purchase price again? I'm sorry, I was checking people in, so I missed a little bit at the beginning.
120. Our purchase price was 120.
Awesome.
So our total profit was 22,864. I don't hear applause.
Yay! Hey, Jen, did you have any surprises with the home inspection or anything you had to negotiate for the closing process?
So the one thing was that oven, and we kind of knew it was nasty. Like my cleaning babes were like, "Oh, Jen, we tried." So we replaced that, and then the outlets, as I mentioned before. So
Good.
So
Well,
that's the end of my presentation. Again, I'm Jen Josey. If you want to ask me any questions, find me on Facebook. That's the easiest way to find me. I'm Jen Josey. And then I was talking about my blogs earlier. There's my website for you to check out the rest of my blogs. So any final questions?
just great presentation.
Thank you so much, Susan. Awesome.
And part of commission, someone wants to know if part of the commission went to the hubby.
Come over here. Come over here.
Yeah, right.
He is, he's coming. Go ahead.
So I guess the good thing about having my license is I only had to pay half the commission. So that was definitely some savings for us as well.
Mm.
Oh, okay. So Vance, you don't take the, when you sell it at the end, you do the buyer's agent, but you don't to the commission is a separate, you increase the profit. That's
Right.
what I do. That's, yeah.
No, I haven't taken the commission, just, it's all, from a tax perspective, it's all in, the big bucket in the grand scheme of things, so I haven't done that.
I love this haircut of yours. Get closer.
Like it? It's easy care.
All right.
A couple more questions. Let's see. Well, Martin and Helena say, bravo, awesome, Jen, thanks. Scott Linden asks, any issues getting insurance for such a short term? Usually you have to pay several months at a time.
We use
That's
an
a-
umbrella policy.
Awesome. That's a
Yeah.
great question.
Yeah.
And Loretta Bell, I'm looking forward to seeing Lance with his hair again. I'm sorry, I didn't read that.
Vance.
Come on, Loretta.
I like the
Yeah.
hair bands.
Thank you.
I like it.
I like it too.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have any questions or anything? Thank you so much, Jen. That
Thank you
was
so much. You did a great job.
really,
Thank
that
you.
was really awesome. That was, wow, 5 days. That's crazy.
I
know.
know, that is crazy.
Oh, hi, Amanda Williams. Nice to see your face.
Yeah. long
Your
time.
house looks amazing, Amanda.
Yep, just a few reminders, everyone. We have our new Real Estate 360 series where we're taking you through all kinds of different facets of real estate investing that you might not normally encounter. The first one was about buying hotels without any money, which was awesome. And there'll be a replay up if you're interested in that. Next one is going to be about buying tax foreclosures, which you can do all across the country from sitting at your desk. And that will be the last Tuesday in July. At the main meeting this month, we're going to be talking about subject twos. And we have a full meeting, full week of meetings this week. So a lot of good stuff going on.
Yep.
Networking is going hot and heavy on our Facebook page at Triangle Real Estate Investors Association Networking Group on Facebook. And if you would like to make a member spotlight like the ones you've seen here, please feel free to email us at TREIA@gmail.com. I forgot. Thank you. And we'll hook you up.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Cool.
Uh,
So much.
Anything, Steph?
Oh, that's it. Thank y'all so much for coming. Great job, Jen.
I see you,
Okay.
Stephanie, with Robert.
Good night, everybody. Stay safe.